Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Passively Offside. It is going to be a good one tonight. With me in the studio, as always, Brandon, Splenda, and Nephi. I am your host, Taylor Graves, and we will talk about a lot of things. Fear the Beard already?
Fear the Beard already. Yeah,
okay.
it's MLS is starting back up.
MLS is starting back up.
It has started back up.
It has started back up. We've got games under our belt. We are going to talk scores in a moment. We're going to talk a couple MLS games. We are still going to be a little World Cup centric right now, for reasons that you probably know. But we are, going to transition back to MLS soon here. More to come, obviously. So, guys.
Yes.
You guys know that we don't have our fifth member with us, right?
We don't have an open chair for him.
We don't have a chair for him right now. We're zoomed in.
No symbolic gesture.
There's nothing. We don't have any. It's like we don't even care.
We care.
But we do. We do.
We update everybody on where he is every week.
As you all know, Boris is away for the summer. He is touring the country looking for talent for his Kiss cover band. And let's go live to Boris right now. Boris, how is it going looking for Kiss cover?
All right. First of all, Kiss cover was supposed to be hush hush. You guys were only supposed to say cover. I didn't want anyone to know that I was going to be painting my face, guys. Come on. Honestly, though, the problem I'm having is I just can't find the right person with the right length of tongue to be on the microphone. I feel like if we don't have that going, we don't have anything with Kiss. So we'll figure this out. I am currently in Decatur, Alabama. I heard someone has a long tongue out here. This is a dirty job, and I guess someone's got to do it.
All right. Well, it looks like you're on your way. It looks like you are working towards it, and hopefully you find that long tongue.
That was going to be my question, is how is he scouting Gene Simmons?
He says, by the way, as you know, I'm the only one that can hear Boris right now. Our setup is ghetto, and he's looking.
Good.
He's heard of someone. He's going to find it.
I'm glad.
But he's upset that we said Kiss. He didn't want us to know. He didn't want us to tell everybody that it was a Kiss cover band.
Was it going to be just like?
Well, he didn't want everyone to know that he was going to paint his face.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's okay.
Well,
you can borrow Brandon's Juggalo makeup. It's all going to work out perfectly fine.
What?
And then
family and support.
Make a fedora joke. Make a fedora joke.
I don't want to make a fedora joke.
You don't have one.
Because I'm not beating a dead horse any more than it's already been beaten.
I had to do it.
I'll leave that to other members of our group.
Kind of ignoring the inside jokes of our friends, we're going to go back to Boris real quick, who is going to update us on scores. If you notice, Nephi is gone. He ran to murder a dog.
Yeah, that sounded a little harsh.
That was a little harsh.
He was kidding.
Come on back in, Neefs. He's gonna. Oh, you're gonna walk around.
Wow, he's going all the way around.
He's going all the way around. Look at that.
How considerate.
And back in front. I mean,
what a respectful gentleman.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right, let's go back to Boris. Boris is going to update us on our prediction scores. We have started making predictions again since the beginning of MLS. So, Boris, back to you with our scores.
In the arms of the angel. Wait, I heard dogs being murdered. Just kidding. All right, getting our scores here. We have Splenda with 31 of 103. Nephi, 34 of 103. Taylor sits at a whopping 39 of 113. Brand is at 40 of 111. Hey, that's a good number. And I, the fearless leader of the Kids Cover Band, sitting at 45 out of 113. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Boris. You are still leading us right now, so congrats, I guess. We're going to drop off with Boris here. Yeah, golf clap real quick, guys. We're going to drop off with Boris. Boris, thank you once again so much for calling in, and we will talk to you. Yeah,
now.
Boris is going to be away for a while, but we all want to come back. Anyway, love you. Goodbye. Real quick before we dive into anything, we'd like to just take a moment to shout out to someone. This is not a company that has given us anything, but tonight's Passively Offside episode is powered by Snapdown Header.
Snapdown Header.
Snapdown Header. Alrighty. Where's Snapdown Header from?
Snapdown Header is a Squatters, I believe it's Squatters or Wasatch.
It's Wasatch.
It's Wasatch Brewery, Utah Beer Collective. We buy local kids, and it's a very good brew.
It's a good beer.
We personally like.
It's an ale.
Indian Pale Lager.
Indian Pale
Lager, thank you,
that's
thank
what
you.
Indian
it
Pale
was.
Lager. There's a difference in the
IPL.
brewing.
Yeah.
In the brewing system.
Yes.
Again, we have no affiliation yet.
We just like it.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Hint, hint, done.
But yeah, so yeah, hint, hint, Dunny.
go.
This was kind of established by Brian Dunstep, who you probably know from ESPN because he's really legit these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also and
These days.
well, I mean, he's been doing a lot more stuff.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot more other.
Like
Yeah, he's
outside
good
of
at what he- it's 'cause he's
RSL.
good at what he does.
Well,
Yeah.
he's been an RSL commentator for a long time, but now he's actually done ESPN specific things. So
He's also done the Portland, Seattle.
Mhm.
Was he not on Fox Soccer a while back too?
Probably.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. We're not going to go
Anywho.
too deep into his life. Let's move on to MLS stuff, which we are going to go through a little quick because we have our hearts somewhere else still. So let's talk MLS real quick before I depress you guys. So kind of signs to come. So first topic here. Again, these are going to be a little quick, but Sporting is barely able to sneak out a win at Portland's house. And one thing I wanted to talk about this, Open Cup action. Portland beat Sporting at Sporting 4 days prior, and beat them by a good margin. Yeah, 3-1. So really, I do want to start with you on this because you are a resident Sporting fan. Everyone knows this. I want to start with you because I'm really kind of wondering, did Sporting just not care about Open Cup?
Honestly, after watching the game, that was the worst 90 minutes of football
bad.
I've ever seen
It was
Sporting
bad.
play. Ever. And that includes when they play Chicago, who we all know isn't in the business of winning. They're in the business of dirtying
I
up
thought you
the
weren't
game.
doing dead horse stuff anymore.
That is a thing that I will do forever. That is a joke and a thing that I will run with forever.
Okay, all right.
That said, Sporting's hearts just weren't in it.
No.
Nobody seemed to put any effort forward in the Open Cup other than Paulo Nagamura. But that man bleeds for this team.
Yep.
He would sooner take a bullet than allow a loss to happen on his watch.
To Portland at
To
home.
anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
To
no, I'm
anybody.
just saying specifically. I mean, throughout the season, the regular season, Portland has been awful.
Yeah.
Not the Portland we saw last year, who
Yeah.
got to the Western Conference final against RSL and honestly played an amazing game. It was a
really
beautiful
open. It was
game.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
It really was.
But then
even
we
from a
get
neutral perspective.
Open Cup with Sporting, who is the defending champions. And yes, they're out Zeusy, but a lot of teams
And
are out.
Beasler.
And Beasler.
They're back on.
And they have a 50% Aurelian Collin.
But still, 4 days later, they go to Portland's house and beat them 1-0. And not, I mean, honestly, not without Portland really putting up a good fight.
Yeah, and I think if you watch Portland in the way they lose, even though they've lost a lot this year, none of their losses look bad.
No,
No.
not at
No,
all.
they always put a lot of pressure up top, and they've always played a really
It's their back
impressive
line.
game.
especially towards the end, I would say. Right before the World Cup break,
Mhm.
who were they playing? Chicago, maybe?
Okay. Well, this will bring you back to my original statement.
Well, yes. If it was Chicago, this does come back to the Chicago's in the business of tying. But Chicago had that game, if it was Chicago. Whoever they were playing had that game in the bag. And Portland, out of nowhere.
Was this their home?
Yeah.
Was that the Vancouver game?
was-
That,
Was it the
the
Vancouver?
Vancouver
It was
game. It was
Vancouver.
like 2 weeks before the World Cup.
Yeah.
break. And they
And
fought
Will Johnson.
hard.
Oh.
Oh, that's
such
right.
a beautiful.
Because he grabs it. Didn't he get?
Yeah.
It was the PK situation, wasn't it? Where someone else wanted to take him, he grabbed it,
Yes.
set it down. He's like, "No, I'm
I think it
doing
was just
this."
a free kick. I
Well,
don't
it
know
might
if
have
it
been
was
a free kick. Yeah, but
But regardless,
He
Will
takes it,
Johnson,
puts it in the-
irregardless.
Irregardless.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, come
I
on.
went there.
Irregardless.
Can we please speak properly?
Sucker.
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 Thank you,
All
Men in
right.
Blazers.
Thank you, Men in Blazers. Let's move on from this. I that was good insight because I agree there was something wrong there. But yeah, let's move past that.
I want to make one quick
yeah.
prediction. I think Portland turns it around from here on out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put that
I
on
can see
record.
that.
I can see
They have
it
the
too.
players to do it.
And they have a new center back.
Someone replacing Ka? Good.
Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Ka's cancer.
Let's talk about Seattle a little bit. Seattle kind of continues to run over the league. Now they just won 1-0. That's not a huge goal
No.
differential.
No, not for that.
But they don't win. They don't lose. And that was the point I was going to bring up mainly. They don't have their main striker, their main forward of Clint Dempsey. I mean,
Was this their next game after the Obafemi Martins red card in Chicago, where we don't know exactly what he did, so he then would have to sit out the next game? So were they also missing Obafemi Martins?
I think they may have. That was a long time ago.
It
The World Cup
was.
has messed with us a little bit.
Throwback.
Woo!
Yep.
Totally messed with my timetables here.
That's weird.
Irregardless.
Irregardless.
Yes.
We're
Misunderestimating
not
them.
dumb, by the way. We know it's regardless. They keep running over teams. Who stops Seattle? Who stops them?
To be honest,
The
I think
playoffs.
The
No playoffs? Yeah.
Seattle's just
wow.
on a really hot run.
Yeah.
And they'll have a break here in a little bit, I would imagine, and they'll lose a couple games.
Okay.
Who
Takes them down?
I don't. It's gonna be.
Who can take them down right now?
Who could take him down right now? Are
As
we
the
talking
roster
to?
stand.
Are we talking like with
Well, with World Cup
no,
back.
no,
With
come
World
on.
Cup back.
Toronto?
Now that we're at full strength,
Toronto, RSL, Sporting,
LA.
Well,
LA could.
I'm not even putting RSL in that bucket right now.
We're talking when they get the players
Not
back.
putting them in that bucket right now.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Fucking pessimist.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well,
So
I mean,
negative.
We'll see though.
well, so you bring up the playoffs. I'm glad you said that, because one thing I wanted to talk about very quickly. Right now, again, they're 10 points ahead of the next team in the next two teams in the lead. RSL and Colorado are tied at 35 points, and they're at 45. They're 10 points ahead.
Yeah.
What's 4 games?
Yeah,
4 games.
Three
I
wins.
bet right now they're wishing they're in the EPL system because they'd be like, oh, we've got the
They're
title.
good, yeah. As long as they're in the.
But they're not.
But they're not.
And what
But what about Supporter Shield?
the Supporter Shield? I mean, I'm not saying they won't get in a Champions League. I'm not saying they're not going to have a successful season. What I'm saying is they won't win MLS Cup
Okay.
because the playoffs are their kryptonite.
Yeah.
They are Superman, and the playoffs are kryptonite, and Lex Luthor is just Don Garber with the playoffs,
With the playoffs.
Don Garber.
smashing Superman in the face.
I like that.
Because let's be honest here, every time we get high on the Seattle Sounders, every time
No marijuana
they're
fun.
playing. Maybe there was. I don't know.
There may have been. Who knows?
But
I'm
every
glad we're
time we
not
get
a
excited
Washington
about
podcast.
every time we get excited about the Seattle Sounders, and every
They let
time
us
they're
down.
playing gorgeous, they stop short as soon as it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of the Open Cup a few years back when they had their awesome run in the Open Cup and they just kept getting into
Yeah.
Champions League and then disappointing us there instead. They haven't done anything since 2011.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you look.
well, they haven't looked this good since then either.
2012. I'm sorry, 2012.
2012. Yeah.
2012 is when Sporting won the Open Cup and then shattered their dreams to get back into Champions League again and hopefully avenge their loss to Tigres.
Okay, I'm gonna put this one prediction out there. I bet it's Chivas.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw
All right.
that.
All right.
Coming
Let's-
from left field, Nephi.
Let's actually move on to the next topic then.
The three
Where
Chivas
the
fans in the world.
hell is Chivas
God.
coming from? Where did Chivas come from? We talked about this right before the show. I brought it up real quick, and we all discussed briefly. They are a good team.
Yeah.
They are a good team.
Well,
Let's
they've
rephrase that.
They've got good players.
They have good
they
players.
have great
They
players,
have great players.
but
They're
they have
lacking.
never had a good team. You
So
don't
where
see
did they come from? They just
Torres.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is it all Torres?
It's all Torres.
It's all tours and it's a break. They had 2 weeks to get together. 2 weeks to actually work things out. I think that
Okay.
you'll see a lot of teams actually performing differently now. Because they had 2 weeks to actually look back, okay, this was the first half of the season. This is what we did wrong. We have 2 weeks to work on it. We can treat the rest of the season as a new season, as a second half.
Okay.
Mhm.
So RSL shirt. Tell me what happened to Real Salt Lake. What happened to Real Salt Lake? Because I want to remind you guys that we haven't lost to Chivas, home or away, in a long
I can't
time.
remember. Yeah.
It was 12 games. In
Wow.
12 games, we've
We've
won.
tied them.
In
Oh,
12
we haven't
games,
lost to them.
I don't know.
in the last 12
Brad
games,
had a
we have
confused look on
won.
his face.
In the last 12 games, we have
In the last
won
12
9.
times we've played.
We have won 9 and tied 3.
Lucky
What-
number 13.
What happened, Splenda?
Luke Mulholland went on studs up, leaving us 10 men down with 81 minutes to play. And I don't think that's the main reason that we lost. I think it was a beautiful
spot pass by somebody to set up Kubo Torres for a beautiful volley against Jeff Attinella.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, we had guys going forward for the run between João Plata and Robbie Finley, but we just couldn't finish.
Okay.
And we had enough chances, so.
Plus, we have injuries and we have guys out.
Well, we can blame that all day long.
Well,
It's
but-
the 11 we feel
But
that
did
we
you
want
watch
to play.
the game that I watched?
You know, I watched the
We
game.
didn't
I mean,
play.
we didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we played, but we played with a man down.
In Real Salt Lake's defense,
Mhm.
they held pretty well for playing with only 10 men.
If I may,
You
they
may-
didn't
you may.
just hold pretty well.
They almost.
They outplayed Chivas a man down.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't finish is the reason why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they finish the chances that they create,
And they
well,
created a lot.
we're looking at a 3-1 victory for RSL.
And, it was said during the commentary, it has stuck in my head since that game. And I think it was Dunny who said it. Chivas is just giving us opportunities,
Mhm.
and we're not
Not
capitalizing.
finishing.
I believe he even used the term. He even used the phrase that they were giving us every. They were taking every chance to lose
Yeah.
their 3
They
points.
were
Believe it,
trying
yeah.
to
Yeah.
lose.
I believe that they were playing to lose 3 points. Or
And-
lose
and-
2 points, at least
And
2
honestly,
points.
I know a few people who are pretty grumpy about Bocanegra not getting into the World Cup squad. I know that's not a big thing that a lot of people are grumpy about, but I know some that are very,
Yeah.
very upset about it.
I think
The way he plays for Chivas, that pretty much solidifies it. That cements why he's not there.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything for them at all. He offers them nothing.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of gripes going on
Yeah.
about with the lineup, for the U.S. men's national team. To be honest, I think if Altidore didn't get hurt so early on, we would have seen a completely different.
Let's
lineup.
table that, because that is actually something
Uh-huh.
we're going to talk about in a little
Okay.
bit. Let's finish up our MLS stuff real quick. Houston got slaughtered by Montreal.
Yeah.
What happened to Houston? Houston was a good team early on.
Yeah.
What happened to Houston?
I have no idea what happened. to
Does
Houston. I don't
anyone know
think-
what happened to Houston? Because I haven't been watching their games. They're so boring.
World Cup hangover.
No.
It's Houston in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an easy place to play
I think
for
they-
Houston either.
No. I mean, it's hot. It sucks. I get that.
I got a remote analyst in Houston. If we want to have him tweet or email into the show on why it's so bad in Houston.
By the way, feel free to tweet us at
Mhm.
passively_off. Feel free to email us at passivellyoffside@gmail.com or join us on Facebook at passivellyoffside.
Actually, I wanted to bring
Nice.
something up
Yeah.
really
Good
quick.
time.
Yeah.
I'm good.
On
No,
the,
that's
on
good.
the
That was a good segue.
situation,
Yes.
FIFA is actually now thinking about adding a 4th sub if it goes into extra time.
So just for
Extra time.
Just for
injury
extra time.
time.
Yep.
But that's
That extra 30
essentially
minutes.
though a 4th sub because
Mhm.
if I'm a
well, no,
coach
you mean you
You
just mean
mean
injury
in-
time.
No, he means
in
extra
the
time, like
extra 30
elimination
minutes.
games.
in the extra
Okay,
30 minutes,
okay.
you
To
get
120, you get a
your
4th sub.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Honestly,
I do.
I love that idea because think about if they could have brought Julian, like how they brought Julian Green on for the United States.
Yeah.
What if they could have brought Josie too, or Aaron Johansson?
Couldn't
Well,
bring Josie.
we'll talk
Josie
about
was
that.
on the bench.
We'll talk about that
And cleared.
momentarily. Let's end our MLS stuff real quick. I'm glad you actually brought up FIFA. We're gonna take a cooling break.
Cooling break.
Everyone get some water.
Oh,
Hey.
thanks,
Do we have any orange
FIFA.
slices?
You did this. How many times did you do this in the World Cup? Oh yeah, once. I think
Twice.
Oh, twice.
We're gonna take
Twice
hey, guys,
officially.
hey,
Twice
we're
that I
just,
saw.
we're just taking a cooling
Yeah,
break.
just
We're
a
just
quick
taking a cooling
cooling
break. We're not
Can
we're
we
not
talk about-
on the show right now. This is a
Mhm.
cooling break. This is time for us.
This is giving us tactical advantage over other podcasts.
Yeah, we have an advantage. I mean, if you want, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you're in somebody's home right now,
Yeah, fair enough.
so
We're giving ourselves tactical advantage over other
Mhm.
podcasts, so let's just take it.
just take a minute.
Thanks, FIFA.
Let's talk the cooling break real
Yes.
quick.
Cooling break.
So FIFA has instituted, or at least did for this cup, that before the game it could be decided that there would be cooling breaks at the 30-minute interval to every half, so at 30 and 75 minutes into the game. That has been used a couple times. I watched, I think it was after the Argentina-Switzerland game, they talked about it in kind of detail on ESPN, and I wanted to bring it up because there was some fire coming from Taylor Twellman and Alexi Lalas, or Lalas if you want to be
Lalas.
like English or something. I don't know.
Let's just call him Lala.
Just Lala.
Yeah,
Wow.
drop the S. It's a soft S.
It's a soft S. So I-
Syria.
I want to just say, my thing, I agree with Taylor Twellman and Alexi Lala that that it changes the game a little bit, and I agree with them that if you're going to decide to do it, it needs to happen in every game, because it was the Netherlands game,
It was
the
because
Netherlands
they
Mexico game.
specifically said the Netherlands coach specifically said, I used that they're 3 minutes apiece. So I used that 3 minutes during the first half to change my game plan, and they won. So really what it comes down to is the biggest question is, now both teams on the field get the same time, but what about other teams? What if the U.S. had gotten that?
What if the teams in the southern part of the World Cup that are down further in Brazil rather than closer to the equator,
Yeah.
they don't get that cooling break?
No, because it's
I-
not as hot.
Fully on the Netherlands coach to take that, because
Yeah.
that. Think
Well,
about it
let's
as-
start with this.
Go
Let's
ahead.
start with this.
Go
I
ahead.
don't mean to cut you off,
No,
but let's
go
start
ahead.
with this.
It's fine.
I want to hear everyone's opinion on the cooling break. Do you feel like it is ruining the game?
Ruining the game?
No.
I don't think so.
They need to, though, put in a guideline for it. Cooling break will be offered if temperatures of that day exceed
Blank.
Well,
blank.
that's kind of what they did.
But
A
they
little bit.
okay.
But
it
it
was
needs to
up
be an
to-
official FIFA rule.
And
though.
that's fine.
And that-
It was kind of up to the ref's discretion. Because they said it. How do you feel about the cooling break? You're fine with it?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
all for it.
All for it. I think Alexi Law said it best, where I love hydration. I love being hydrated. There's no problem with hydration. His problem, and a problem that I actually kind of believe, is that not every game was getting it.
Yeah.
So, yes, it could be a rule of if temperatures exceed X, we do it. But I personally think if you're going to institute it, it needs to happen for every game.
So
At least outside of group.
There are rules in place for certain weather conditions.
Yep.
Lightning on the field, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Now, they are playing in dangerous heat. Now, don't even talk about 2022.
yeah.
But 85-degree heat and 90+% humidity
Yeah.
is dangerous conditions, and I think if you're viewing this from the player safety perspective, I'm all for it, and it needs to go in the FIFA rulebook that if it exceeds
Yeah.
these parameters, then you're
Then
good
it's
to
not
go.
up to the ref's discretion at that
Exactly.
point.
Well,
because
that's
the
one
U.S.
point.
because U.S.-Portugal game,
Mhm.
then there should have been one.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
It defines
And
it.
again, that comes back to the main question. It's not a matter of whether it should exist or not. We all like it. I personally think it's a great thing. I think if it did become an official rule with parameters, that would make it better.
Yeah.
The biggest question is, do you guys also kind of feel like it is an unfair advantage from one game to another?
Okay. Can I throw that?
Yeah,
over
go
my
ahead,
head?
yeah.
Go ahead.
If you don't want it to be an unfair advantage, instead, because they allowed the coach to come in there and give team talks during those 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead,
Isolate the team.
isolate the team.
Keep
Okay.
them in the middle
Put
of
the team on
field.
the opposite side.
Okay.
Throw the team on the opposite side of the field, away from the bench, and the coach can't get there, can't give the team talk, can't change tactics, deal with it.
Okay.
Then it doesn't change anything.
I
The
like
game
that.
doesn't change other than momentum.
Hey,
Mhm.
FIFA,
Set
Well,
ladder.
what you would
Kick
do
us
is
20
you
mil.
just do the same.
listen
I'm
up.
a problem solver.
Coach needs
You
to
want me
say
on your
in his
corporate
coaching
team.
box,
In the dotted line,
players that are on the field cannot step off the field.
Mhm.
And
water gets brought to them.
And then at that point,
And orange
you're still
slices.
at game time type situations where, because the coach can still, if he's in his box, like, hey guys, da, da,
Yeah,
da.
he can yell. I
But-
like that. They're on the field, not on the other side. Neva's just saying
Middle.
they're like
And
in
then
the
the
middle.
coach has to stay in his coaching box, and they have to police that.
Keep
Yeah.
them in the
Because then you're just, all you're doing
If he
is
goes
doing,
out of the box, he
yeah,
gets
because
sent
then
off,
all you're
just like
doing,
you normally
yeah,
would.
because then all you're doing is keeping the same game situation rules
Yeah.
in place.
You mean like the Belgian coach who ran across the field when they
for
scored
the
their second goal?
celebration?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Why wasn't he thrown out?
It should have been a yellow
Um,
card.
Should have been a
Should
yellow.
have been.
card.
Well,
You don't
yeah,
card
you
it.
don't card
You don't
refs.
actually
Card- yeah.
card coaches.
Right.
So
Well, I mean,
get out.
someone on the bench got carded this week.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
That was
Well,
funny.
I was going to say,
I giggled at little.
They-
I
yeah.
laughed so hard.
I think the Mexican coach also came on the field. I think so.
Was it
Herrera?
dry Herrera or wet Herrera?
Was it what Herrera?
It's-
Please
It
tell me
was-
it's what
It's
Herrera.
probably a wet Herrera.
Yeah.
We've only had one wet Herrera. I think it was dry Herrera.
Dry
But wet
Herrera's-
Herrera is superior to dry Herrera.
Wet
We
Herrera
No,
are.
no, Herrera proved to us that dry Herrera is just as good as wet Herrera.
I think Herrera is wet all the time.
Herrera.
He's in a constant state of moisture.
Oh man.
Let's not talk about that.
Yes.
All right.
Let's move on to the U.S.
Let's move
Yes.
on.
To our post.
I like that
Yes.
little thing that I thought of, by the way.
Yeah.
Give me credit
Which one?
for the cooling break. Okay.
You have things.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that.
Stuffs.
It was good. Yeah.
Take another.
Yeah, I need
We're
it.
gonna talk
I'm
about
gonna
our
take another
post-mortem
real
now.
quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got all the
let's
hydration I need right here.
let's talk about a really depressing topic. And before I do that, I'm gonna stand up. Okay. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna show off my shirt a little bit.
Things Tim Howard can save.
Hey, we're not there yet.
What?
We're not there yet.
I wasn't saying anything.
I want to show off my shirt because this is the best shirt ever and it's one of a kind. But Tim Howard is a monster.
Yeah.
And as you all know, the lower half of my face is going to talk to you. As you all know, the U.S. is out of the World Cup. We lost 1-0, but damn was it a good fight.
2-1.
2-1.
I'm sorry.
2-1.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You
kind
don't
of blocked that
You
out.
just didn't give Julian Green his due.
I'm sorry. I did not.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit back down.
That's fine.
Wow, I don't know where. I think I was still thinking back to the Chivas San Jose. Yes, my apologies.
It happens.
2-1, all of the goals in extra time.
Yeah.
So I want to break down the game just a little bit. I don't want to go super deep because we can talk about this for the next 12 hours. So we were kind of talking. You came over to my house to watch. And we were kind of discussing that the team looked a little winded. So my first question. Is it a problem kind of where the U.S. does not play well in this format? Are we just at a disadvantage in this format with games back to back almost? Or is it the fact that we're just not good enough, or what happened?
I think it's two things.
Okay.
Honestly, I think you touched on it a little bit when you said we don't play well in this format with the games back to back, and that's namely because we don't have the depth. Our starting lineup is as good as is on par with anybody else's. Our problem is where our subs come in. Our subs, there's a drop off in talent there, and it's noticeable. That's the problem. I mean, you look at Germany, because they're a perfect example of a team that all their parts are
German
interchangeable.
machine.
Exactly. And then I think the second part comes with the fact that
That's not racist.
Just don't be.
I think the second part of our problem when it came to the World Cup was you stopping them made me stop.
Sorry. Okay. I actually want to get your opinion real quick,
Yeah.
specifically, because have you watched the game yet?
I have not.
So,
Don't.
Splenda wasn't able to watch the game because he was working. He did a media blackout. It was perfect. No problems whatsoever. Blocked our chat, turned off Facebook, all this stuff.
Everything.
And then texts me when he gets out of work. Just a simple kind of text, asking.
I said, what exactly?
I think you asked me if it was worth watching.
Yeah, was it worth watching the game? Was
And
it a barn burner that was full 90 minutes, nonstop action, or was it literally just watch the last 15 or 20 minutes and that's it?
And I didn't want to ruin it for him, so I said, look, I'm not going to ruin it for you. I can't really give you that answer without ruining it. So who ruined it, Splenda?
A brother of mine.
A brother of yours? Because you have two. Which one? Call him out.
I can't.
Call him out.
He called me out for calling him out. We called him out apparently on the last show. So I'm not going to call him out, but he knows who he is.
You know who you are,
He
sugar.
knows who he is.
Shame on you.
I never said his name.
I did.
Shame.
A brother of mine
The older one.
gave away the end of the game for me. He
Still
was
a good
properly
game to watch.
disciplined. He was properly disciplined.
Did you break his legs?
No.
Okay, let's go back to our original
Anyway,
question.
back to the original question.
The original
Yes.
question, from a perspective of someone who has only kind of heard about the game from us mostly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the U.S. right now? Give me first off how you feel about the team not proceeding, and then give me your opinion about the game from what you've heard.
So, as a whole, our trip to Brazil, I'm taking away as a positive. I'm not looking at an exit as a 2-1 loss in the round of 16 as a failure by any stretch of the imagination. We went into the group of death, Germany, Portugal, Ghana. 3 teams that could have easily run over us and handed us 3 straight losses, and we would have gone home with our tail tucked between our legs, like Spain, like England, like Italy, like a bunch of these other big teams.
I don't know if you said that, but I wanted to say
I said England. I said England. But it's okay.
I'm glad you said that, though, because
I wasn't finished.
I know. I'm going to let you keep going.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on that. I'll let you finish, but Beyonce
Thanks,
or
Kanye.
whatever. I'm glad you brought that up because there has been a lot of negativity coming up, and I wanted to reiterate your point that no fan of the U.S. men's national team should walk away from this feeling defeated. No one thought we could get out of the group of death.
Nope.
No one thought we could even hold our own against Belgium. Yes, it's a defeat. Yes, it's sad, but don't have the feeling of we can't do this. We'll never do this.
No.
Come away from it positively. You can say words in a minute. I know. I know
I have
that,
something.
I know you
That's
do. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to reiterate
okay.
that. Go ahead.
So, we came out of the group of death in less than awesome circumstances. We were playing the float on the goal differential. That's fine. We go in against Belgium, which they were great. They are they top 15 in the world, and we took them to extra time and lost in 90 seconds, which is about how long it was for the 2 goals to get scored, right?
Yeah.
90
Well,
seconds?
About 2
the
minutes,
first
yeah.
the
About-
first goal
about
was
2
scored
minutes,
after
okay.
90 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
All
the
right,
first
all
one.
right, that's fine.
And then they scored another in the.
Almost immediately.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was about,
and
a
then there
about a
was
2-minute time span.
Then there was
between the goals.
another 25, 28 minutes of play,
Something
and
like that, and then
Julian Green.
I think that is the one point that kind of makes this all better for me is at the end of the game, 18, 19-year-old Julian Green, how old is he? 17, 16, 15, 14? Stop me when you have. No.
14?
Something like that. He's very
18, right?
young. He's
Yeah,
an
he's 18.
18-year-old, and he comes in still fighting to the death. He played to the whistle, and that is what we need. No, this way. Right behind me. What does it say? United we stand. We
Win together, lose together.
We win as a team, we lose as a team. This was a positive World Cup for us in many ways, between Klinsmann putting things together, going 3-0 on our send-off series, winning our group, and losing a heartbreaker to Belgium. And there should be no negativity around the U.S. showing in the World Cup from this year.
Cool. Yeah, that's a big deal. I fully agree. Tell me
One and only one negative thing about
Negative Nancy here is gonna.
Hey, you know me. I'm usually pretty
Yep.
positive.
What
but
you got?
I feel that we showed Belgium too much respect.
Okay.
So if you go back,
Yes.
if you go back and have a chance to watch the game,
Okay.
I want you to watch the first 45 minutes,
Okay.
and then I want you to watch the last 20 minutes of extra time. There's a difference in that U.S. team. A complete difference in the way we played. We showed them no respect in that last 20 minutes. And how many chances did we create?
Too many.
A lot.
Too many, and none of them went in except for Julian Green.
And that's what I mean. Too many for not to have scored.
Mm-hmm.
We had every right to put that into penalties. We had every right to have a chance to move on.
And penalties are a 50-50 game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever taken a penalty shot while you're in goal. I have. I don't think I've ever saved one
Tough.
because I'm not that good of a keeper.
even like the pressure.
I'm just not that good of a keeper.
I
just
mean
wanted to
from the
say
shooter's
that.
But
perspective.
here's the deal, though.
Mm-hmm.
If we show Belgium that level of respect, which is none, throughout the entire second half, we're going through. There is no question in
Or
my
at
mind.
least have a 50-50
Because
chance.
their left back was a 100% liability. He could not keep up with Yedlin. He could not keep up with Johnson when he was on the field. He couldn't keep up with Zusi, who isn't that fast.
No.
He was getting slaughtered in that area. He was on his own little island, and he was getting beaten to a pulp. He had no chance. Vincent Kompany is the reason that defense held together.
Sure. Okay. Company really, really did step it up and kind of brought
While
that.
at 80%.
Yeah. Nephi, tell me about Wando's missed chance. Don't do that. I know.
You got on me for being negative Nancy. You bring that up.
You started the negativity, and this is a negative podcast. Now. Tell me about Wando's chance.
We had an.
First off, when did this happen?
It was after the second goal. I'm not sure.
No, it was not.
This was in regulation.
92nd minute.
Oh, that's right.
His missed chance.
It was
Right at the end.
when it was like what,
90th,
10 minutes after he came
90th or
in.
92nd.
Yeah, and it's a goal that he
It will be forever
He-
burned into my memory
always puts in. It's a goal he puts in.
every time.
And
Wando with the extra W.
here's the thing.
He's not allowed to have the third W anymore.
Did he have the third W?
Yes,
Are we
he
sure?
did.
His crest.
It's in his crest.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna be mad at him.
We knew he should have put that in. And so did he. And he has taken that to heart. He has owned up to it. He
Yeah.
said, "That was my bad. I put all the responsibility."
'Cause that's a game
on
winner.
me." That's what he
At
said.
that point,
He's
that's
like,
nail in the coffin.
I alone had that chance to seal us a victory, and I messed it up.
In case you didn't see it, real quick rundown. The ball kind of comes right to him while he is inside the 6-yard box, unmarked. He's onside.
Just has to tap it in.
Just has to tap
and
it
it
in.
goes up.
To be a little fair,
To be a little
and I know it's hard to do when you're hurt this much because trust me, watching that happen
Oh,
was one of the most painful experiences of my life. It was like watching Josie miss the open net in 2010 all over again.
Oh,
Okay, so-
why'd you bring that up?
Because
Can we get like
because it's
some-
so similar.
Some happy.
Yeah,
But here's the positive
second.
part.
Yes.
It wasn't quite as simple of a finish as people think.
no.
No,
No,
it,
no.
it,
It was
didn't come right
it was a
down his
half
feet.
volley,
Yeah.
and he took it from an awkward position.
Yeah.
That said, Wando still finishes that 90% of the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Wando's Wando, and you.
All he has
count
to
on
do is strike that on the
He
top
doesn't,
half
even
of the
have,
ball.
he doesn't have to strike it at all. All he has to do is redirect that ball. He has to let it come, hit his leg, angle his leg so it
It
goes
was coming
towards
down.
goal.
It had enough on it. He could have pushed it.
Easily
I
just
think.
tapped it.
All right.
Keeps it low, it's in.
All right.
We're not professional.
We're getting really depressed here. I am personally getting upset, and it's very hot in this room.
Is it okay if I go cry in a corner?
You're welcome to go cry. There's a corner right there.
Yes.
All right.
There's a corner right there, and right
So,
there, and right there.
Let's loop back. Let's loop back to something that Splenda ruined for you earlier. Tim Howard.
Whatever.
Tim Howard had the game of his life and set the World Cup save record with 16 saves.
It's this many.
Thank you.
Dude, I can
Suck on
count.
that, Ochoa.
Thank you.
I can count.
Yeah, suck on that, Ochoa. Although, come on, let's be fair. Ochoa's
Ochoa's great.
Wow.
No, I'm not saying
Great
he's not
guy.
good.
Much saves.
I'm
Much
simply
saves,
stating that Tim Howard is better.
All right, let's we haven't really
He's
done
a
much,
biracial angel.
we
Come
haven't
on.
done really much social media stuff on this show. I'm gonna switch back to our kind of thing here. Let's talk about hashtag things Tim Howard could save. Let's start with this one. Brandon, tell me what's happening in this picture here.
That would be Tim Howard saving the young lady from Jaws, but I honestly think that the shark should be replaced with Luis Suarez.
I think
I've seen that.
Is there- is that-
I think
yes.
there is
Oh,
one.
I'm so glad.
The
I just don't-
vampire Luis Suarez.
I got this from an album on Imager, so I wasn't able to find all of them. Nephi, what's Tim Howard saving in this one?
Oh, he's
So,
saving
can
the
people see this?
dinosaurs
Yes,
on Earth from the meteor that kills everybody.
All right.
Kills
Kills
them. Oh,
Kills
dear.
all the little
Splenda, I'm going to give you this one.
That's
because
my
it's
favorite,
adorable.
by the way.
Splenda, what is Tim Howard now saving?
Tim Howard is now saving beautiful Bambi from slipping on the slippery ice.
All right.
Slippity.
Let's finish up with this one. I wanted to say this for last because you brought him up. Right now, Tim Howard is saving.
He's saving Chiellini.
He's saving Chiellini. You can see his hand is in there.
We all know
Suarez,
Chiellini's one of the undead now.
Well, Suarez actually ends up biting Howard right here.
Yeah.
You can see that Howard is the most in focus image here because he's that good.
I think
Yes.
Tim Howard slaps Luis Suarez's face away
Yeah.
The
as
last
he would punch a ball
Yeah.
No,
instead
no.
of being
Okay,
bitten.
wait, what does he do?
he slaps him like he's a naughty little puppy, just on the nose. Bad Suarez, go back to your corner. You
Well,
Go back to your
animal.
crate.
You can't really
Little
slap
animal.
him on the face because you run the risk of having
Becoming
those teeth cut
infected.
you anyway.
He's got
the
gloves.
Yeah.
Well,
Those gloves are made of steel.
Have you seen Luis Suarez's teeth?
Have
They
you
will go right through
Have
those
you
gloves.
seen Tim Howard? He doesn't care.
As you said before,
Well, as
he's
long as he doesn't lose a
biracial
finger.
angel.
Tim Howard, everybody. Tim Howard.
Howard.
We love you,
So
Tim.
that is hashtag thing Tim Howard could save. That is blowing up, and those are only a couple. There's actually more. There's
Like 40 different.
There's
There
a
was-
Leaning Tower of Pisa
the Leaning Tower Pizza one that was really good.
pointing, and it's leaning on its
There
finger.
is there's one where he is Neo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The
Natty.
scene where the bullets are coming, and he's just got it. Yeah, he's just hand up, and it's
Yes.
just his face. That's a good one. I like that. Did you hurt yourself?
We'll talk about that later.
Did you? Okay, I'm just worried about you in the middle of the show. All right,
So excited about Tim Howard.
so excited. Tim Howard, national hero right now. He's going to
Secretary of Defense.
be. Thank you so much.
New Wikipedia entry.
Yeah, and that
It
was
has been.
that
Yeah.
was his picture was put on the Secretary of Defense's. I don't what that guy's
I don't know
name
his
is.
actual
I
name,
forget
so-
his
Mr.
name.
Secretary of Defense.
Mr. Secretary of Defense. We should know
I
this.
try to
We're
stay on
not good
politics.
Whatever,
citizens.
dude.
Yeah.
I try to stay out of politics.
Anyway,
because
that
it
was
makes me hate
hilarious.
people so
I
much.
didn't actually see it. I hope it hasn't changed. I'm gonna look it up.
There-
It has
there
been.
is-
I checked it today.
There is an official petition to rename the Ronald Reagan Airport in D.C. the Tim Howard Airport.
Yep, which I'd be fine with.
I am down. I'm
Because
going
he
to
could
sign
save
said
all those
petition.
planes.
Now, did you know,
No.
in the wake of his Wikipedia being changed to Secretary of Defense for Tim Howard,
He called him.
that you did know? Okay.
I do
okay.
know that.
Yeah, the Secretary of
Secretary of
Defense
Defense-
actually called Tim
Yep,
Howard
called
to
Tim
thank
Howard.
him for his stalwart defense of the United States back line.
And Barack Obama called Tim Howard and Clint Dempsey together. They were together and congratulated them, thanked them for their service, I guess. And
He thanked them
He
for.
thanked them for their service because playing soccer is like going to war.
Whoa.
And they
let's
represented
let's not do
US.
that is
There-
not the opinion of
there-
Passively Offside.
That's not the
It's
opinion.
my opinion. Deal with it.
Okay. That about wraps it up for us tonight. Before we go,
We're going to end on that note, really?
we are going to end on that note. We're actually going to end on a
sorry.
different note. I want to send out our condolences to the Columbus fan who was struck by lightning right before the Columbus game last week. That game was canceled. I postponed. Yeah, I haven't heard any word on the game. That's not the important part. The important part is he is alive, and we wish the best. Speedy recovery. That's,
Well done.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Lived through that, so great.
I do have one more condolence we have to give.
Yeah, please.
A referee in Michigan was recently punched to death by a player he was giving a red card to. This is the second one in 2 years that I'm aware of.
There
only.
was
The
one in
first
Salt
one
Lake,
was
too.
here.
The
Yeah.
first one was here in Salt Lake.
Holy
And
heck.
I just wanted to say to his family, I'm
Yeah.
very sorry
So-
that one guy decided to ruin his experience with soccer
Yep.
forever, essentially. Because soccer will never be the same for
That
that family.
is
No,
completely
no.
unacceptable. And again, the second time that we've heard of. I mean, what was this? What kind of league was this?
It was
Comparing to the
a
one here.
high-level amateur indoor league.
Okay.
So we're
Oh,
talking.
man.
Remember the old MISL before it went defunct last year?
Yeah.
Kind of like a league below that.
Okay.
So it's a high-end indoor amateur league.
Okay. Wow, I didn't even know about that. Thank you. Our condolences go out to the families, both of those there. That's not what soccer's about. With assault and stuff, and for getting struck by lightning.
Well, this isn't Brazil. This isn't.
no, we don't.
We
draw
don't put head
our
referees when
No.
they give us bad calls.
Anyway, let's try to turn this around before I start sobbing because that's just not acceptable. Thank you for tuning in this week. I know we ended on a very low note. Sometimes you have to do that. Like I said before, join us on our Facebook. That is facebook.com/passively-offside. Our Twitter is at @passively_off, and our blogspot at passively-offside.blogspot.com. Remember, you're also welcome to email us at passively-offside@gmail.com. If we get tweets or we get emails, we will read them on the air if they're appropriate. And yeah. Anyone got anything else? You guys good?
We'll have better news next time. I hope.
Hopefully we'll have better
Yes.
news next time. For the Passively Offside team, including Boris, I am Taylor. Have a good night.